हरिओम हरिओम। प्रेम से बोलो प्रभु श्री रामचंद्र की जय। प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय। प्रेम से बोलो उमापति महादेव की जय। Special welcome to one and all as we begin this evening's devotional service. Let us all clasp hands, close eyes and bow heads as we meditate upon that supremost being. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Om Shri Saraswati Namah. Om Shri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namah. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakayeshu Sarvada. Om Vinadhare Vipulamangala Danashile Bhaktatrinashane Viranchi Harshavande Kirti Prade Akhila Manoratha Demaye Vidya Pradayane Saraswati Now Minityam. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagatguru. Om Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Virase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Patiye Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om. So we begin by paying obeisance to that beautiful form of Lord Ganesh as we all join in singing Jai Jai Ganapati. Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai. Bolo.
Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai.
Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai.
Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai.
Ganapati Vigna Vinashana Hare, Ganapati Vigna Vinashana Hare.
Ganapati Vigna Vinashana Hare, Ganapati Vigna Vinashana Hare.
Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai.
Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai.
लंबोदर पीतांबर सोहे हरि मणि मुकुतन यन रत्नारे
लंबोदर पीतांबर सोहे हरि मणि मुकुटन यन रत्नारे
गज मणिमाल कले ब्रज सोहे गज मणिमाल कले ब्रज सोहे बाल लाल में चंद कला में गणपति विघ्न
विनाशनहारे गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे
जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय
जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय
कलेत देख जननी जब तुमक छलकनु पुरचनकारी
मोद कलेत देख जननी जब तुमक छलकनु पुरचनकारी
रेधि सिधि दो शवर दुलावत रेधि सिधि दो शवर तुलावत सुरस मोहन भी गोर सुकारे गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे
गणपति विघ्न विनाशनहारे
जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय
जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय जय
जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणेश जय गणपति जय 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 गणेश जय गणपति जय जय। प्रेम से बोलो श्री गणेश भगवान की जय।
तोरा मन दर्पण कहलाई तोरा मन दर्पण कहलाई भले बुरे सारे कर्मों को देखी और सिखाई तोरा मन दर्पण कहलाई तोरा मन दर्पण कहलाई कलियां दुख की काटे मन सबका सुख की कलियां दुख की काटे मन सबका मन से कोई बात छुपे ना मन की नैन हजार जग से जाए पागल कोई मन से भाग न पाई टूरा मन दर्पण कहलाई टूरा मन दर्पण कहलाई भले बुरे सारे कर्मों को देखे और सिखाई टूरा मन दर्पण कहलाई टूरा मन दर्पण कहलाई
समझो कौन नहीं चाहिए रंग मिलना नहीं चाहिए रंग मिलना धन दौलत की शान हम तो मांगे तुझसे मालिक एक संतोष अदा के घर घर में खुशियाँ हो सदा सुख की हरियाली हो नहीं चाहिए रंग मलना धन दौलत की शान हम तो मांगे तुझसे मालिक एक संतोष का दाम देने की अगर भावना तेरे, दुख को शहरे की शक्ति दे, यही प्रार्थना मेरे। सुख के बदले दुख देने की अगर भावना तेरे, दुख को शहरे की शक्ति दे, यही प्रार्थना मेरे। किसी के आगे हाथ न फैलाए, अपने मेहमत काहे सुपाए, इतना दे वरदान। हम तो मांगे तुझसे मालिक, कि संतोष करा, के घर घर में खुशियाली हो, सदा सुख की हरियाली हो। नहीं चाहिए रंग मलना धन दौलत की शान, हम तो मांगे तुझसे मालिक, के संतोष करा, के घर घर में खुशियाली हो, सदा सुख की हरियाली हो। नहीं चाहिए रंग मलना धन दौलत की शान, हम तो मांगे तुझसे मालिक, एक संतोष का दान।
ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरे नाम, सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरे नाम, सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। सबको सन्मति दे भगवान, सारा जग तेरी संतान, सारा जग तेरी संतान। इस धरती पर बसने वाले सब है तेरे गोद के पाले। इस धरती पर बसने वाले सब है तेरे गोद के पाले, सब है तेरे गोद के पाले। कोई नीचन कोई महान, सबको सन्मति दे भगवान।
ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरे नाम, सबको सम्मति दे भगवान।
काटो नस्लों के बंटवारे, झूठ कहाए तेरे द्वारे। काटो नस्लों के बंटवारे, झूठ कहाए तेरे द्वारे, झूठ कहाए तेरे द्वारे। तेरे लिए सब एक समान, सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। सबको सन्मति दे भगवान, सारा जग तेरी संतान, सारा जग तेरी संतान। जन्म का कोई मोल नहीं है, जन्म मनुष्य का डोल नहीं है, जन्म का कोई मोल नहीं है, जन्म मनुष्य का डोल नहीं है, जन्म मनुष्य का डोल नहीं है। कर्म से ही सबकी पहचान, सबको सन्मति दे भगवान, सबको सन्मति दे भगवान। सारा जग तेरी संतान, सारा जग तेरी संतान, सारा जग तेरी संतान, सारा जग तेरी संतान।
गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ, जन्म जन्म के भाग्य फल को पाओ। गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ,
गुरु जी की चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ, गुरु जी की चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ।
लागे मोह माया ना कब हो जगा ढके, दया सिंधु गुरु जी को शरण न ध्याओ, दया सिंधु गुरु जी को शरण न ध्याओ।
गुरु जी की चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ, गुरु जी की चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ।
भटकता रहा हूँ मैं युग युग से स्वामी, मिली ज्ञान आके हरि रस पाओ, मिली ज्ञान आके हरि रस पाओ।
गुरु जी की चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ, गुरु जी की चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ।
काम क्रोध मद लोभ शत्रु है भारी, गुरु ज्ञान खंग से मारा भगाओ, गुरु ज्ञान खंग से मारा भगाओ।
गुरु जी की चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ, गुरु जी की चरणों शीश को झुकाओ।
जिस वीर का गाओ जन्म नारी, उस देख कर मन
को झुकाओ, गुरु जी के चरणों में शीश को झुकाओ। प्रेम से बोलो गुरु महाराज की जय। So, my dear devotees, a very warm and special welcome to each and every one of you to this evening's devotional service. Again, we have been gathered here because of the passing away of the son of the home, Shriman Randi. We ask in the name of Bhagwan Krishna, wherever his soul, his Atma may be, let it have a safe journey towards him. We ask may the blessings be with the parents, the brother, all the relatives, the friends, and all those who were associated with Randi. At this time, we do one beautiful kirtan as we remember that beautiful form of Bhagavan Krishna. Let us all feel that spark of divinity within. Let us feel that Shakti. Let us feel that Bhakti. And at the same time, let us remember the dearly beloved Randi. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om. Bolo.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Krishna 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 Jai Radha Krishna.
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 Govinda Govinda Bhaju Radhe Govinda, Gopala Gopala Bhaju Krishna Mukunda.
Govinda Govinda Bhaju Radhe Govinda, Gopala Gopala Bhaju Krishna Mukunda.
Govinda Govinda Bhaju Radhe Govinda, Gopala Gopala Bhaju Krishna Mukunda.
Govinda Govinda Bhaju Radhe Govinda, Gopala Gopala Bhaju Krishna Mukunda.
Om Hari Om Hari Om Shiva Om.
Om Hari Om Hari Om Shiva Om.
Om Hari Om Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.
Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om. प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय. So, my dear devotees, once again, the blessing is ours to be here in this very beautiful home, to spend these few moments in satsang, in glorifying Bhagwan, offering our love and our salutations, all in contemplation of that departed one. We ask in the name of Bhagwan Krishna, Prabhu Shri Ram, that that soul may have a safe journey towards the higher region. Once again, this evening I am reading from Ramcharitamanas, Uttar Kand of Ramayana. And so, in tonight's Katha, we will listen to a dialogue where a devotee of Bhagwan, a devotee of God, was actually having an interaction with Sri Ram himself. In the Ramayana, there are a few places where Sri Ram spoke to devotees, where he had interaction. And in tonight's Katha, we will listen to very, very beautiful dialogue. And you know what takes place? We listen in Chaupai. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
Shri Ram Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Rama Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
भगत भचलता प्रभु कई देखी उपजी मम उर प्रीति विशेषी
Shri Ram Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Rama Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
सचल नयन पुला कित कर जोरी किनी बहु विधि बिना य बहोरी
Raja Ram Ram Ram, Raja Ram Ram Ram, Raja Ram Ram Ram, Raja Ram Ram Ram.
सचल नयन पुला कित कर जोरी किन्हीं हूँ बहु विधि विनय बहोरी
Shri Ram Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Rama Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
श्री राम जय राम
Jaya Jaya Rama,
जय राम श्री राम
Jaya Jaya Rama.
So, my dear devotees, Just to take you a little bit before this Chaupai, this devotee, he was blessed to see the powers of Sri Ram. He saw all the many, many universes, all the suns and the moons and the devatas and the gods, all of this in that body of Sri Ram. And so he became very, very deluded. You know, for you to see all this Shakti, all this light and this energy, you will become very, very weak to stand before that force. And so, seeing the bewilderment of the devotee, Sri Ram rests his hand on his head. And my dear devotees, when Sri Ram rests the hand on his head, his lotus hand, he's saying here, when Sri Ram rests his lotus hand on my head, it relieved me of all my sorrows and my bewilderment. You know, my dear devotees, gone are the days where people really rest their hand on your head. You know, long time when you go, the barber, the old-time barber, when you go and you bow at the feet, or even your parents, your mother and your father, they will always rest their hand on your head. They will bless you. And, you know, so much so that they give you that blessings and that benediction that you may prosper, that you may be happy, that you may have long life. These are the things that they will put their hand on your head and bless you with. So the Lord put his hand on the head of the devotee, and immediately he became very light, and all his sorrow went away. This is the power. So come back to the Chaupai, you know, Bhagata Bhachalata Prabhu Kei Dekhi Upaji Mama Ura Priti Visesi. So here this devotee, he's saying that I am beholding the loving Lord, his kindness to all his devotees. My heart began to throb with profound devotion, and my eyes began to stream down tears, and my body and my hands began to shake as I fold them and stand before Bhagwan. So you really think that if you should really be standing before the Lord, but first of all, you have to recognize that this was the Lord I am standing before. You have to recognize that, right? That this is the Lord and Master. So he recognized that Sri Ram was the Lord and Master, and he's standing before him. And so tears streaming down his eyes. As he clasped his hand, his body began to quiver, to shake, you know. And he folded his hands in prayer, and he began to make a very earnest petition. And what is he saying to the Lord? As we listen in bhajan, what is he saying to the Lord? Chanchal mananit omkar japa, omkar japa, Ram Ram Ram. Chanchal mananit omkar japa, omkar japa, Ram Ram Ram. Phala phala chinna chinna kahari nishadin, Phala phala chinna chinna kahari nishadin, Omkar japa, Omkar japa, Omkar japa, Ram Ram Ram. Chanchal mananit Omkar japa, Omkar japa, Ram Ram Ram. प्रात समय की सुख वेला में, संध्या की पुलकित रजनी में। प्रात समय की सुख वेला में, संध्या की पुलकित रजनी में। रोम रोम से निकले ओमकार जपा, ओमकार जपा। राम 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 चंचल मन नित ओमकार जपा, ओमकार जपा। राम राम राम। गहरा सागर तू ते नैया, जीवन तरनी ओम के भैया। गहरा सागर तू ते नैया, जीवन तरनी ओम के भैया। पार करेंगे ओमकार जपा, ओमकार जपा। राम 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 चंचल मन नित ओमकार जपा, ओमकार जपा। राम राम राम। सरतत बाकी खोज किए जा, नाम सरस रास रोज पिए जा। सरतत बाकी खोज किए जा, नाम सरस रास रोज पिए जा। पार करेंगे ओमकार जपा, ओमकार जपा। राम राम राम। पार करेंगे ओमकार जपा, ओमकार जपा। राम 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 चंचल मन नित ओमकार जपा, ओमकार जपा। राम 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 चंचल मन नित ओमकार जपा, ओमकार जपा। राम 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 ओमकार जपा। राम राम राम। प्रेम से बोलो प्रभु श्री रामचंद्र की जय। So with fallen hands, this devotee, he began to sing the praises of the Lord, and he's telling the Lord that, you know, he's a sagar, gehra sagar. He says that you are this ocean of mercy and compassion, that you are, you know, the Lord and Master, you are the Almighty, you are the Lord of this universe. He says, I bow to you and I pray to you and I beseech you to continue to bless me. And so, my dear devotees, when Bhagwan Sri Ram heard the loving words of this devotee, and he saw the plight of this devotee with so much love and humility, Bhagwan began to speak. And he made a very beautiful and a gracious speech, very profound and very tender. And what is he saying as we listen in this doha? Kagavushund Maghubara Ati Prasanna Mohi Jan O Rama Ati Prasanna Mohi Jana Animadhika Sidhu Apararidhi Animadhika Sidhu Apararidhi Moksha Sakala Sukha Khani Siyavar Ramachandra Chiki Jai Sharanam Shankar Hari Om Jai Jai Siya Ram Siyavar Ramachandra Chiki Jai Sharanam Shankar Hari Om Jai Jai Siya Ram. So, my dear devotees, who was this devotee? Here Bhagwan Sri Ram addressed the devotee by the name Kagavushundi. I'm sure all of us we heard that name and we know that name, Kagavushund. So Sri Ram, he's saying Kagavushund Magra Bara Ati Prasanna Mohi Jani. So he says, O Kag, I want you to ask me of a boon, for I am highly pleased with you. So this is, my dear devotees, whenever you are pleased with someone, if you are a boss in your work, if you are a parent in your home, and your children do things to please you, if your workers do things to please you, and you tell them, ask for what you want, I will give to you. You know what? That is the opportunity they wait for, because they know that you are the one who can really give them what they want at this point in time. So here now, the Lord is telling Kag Vushunji, ask for a boon, ask for whatever you want. And so he goes on to tell him that, do you want the 8 perfections of the power of assuming that small form as an atom? The 8 perfections meaning, 8 siddhis. I'll just go off the katha for a moment. You remember in Hanuman Chalisa, Ashta Siddhi now Nidhi ke data. Hanuman was given the blessings where he have Ashta Siddhi, the 8 siddhis. So this is exactly the same thing which Sri Ram is asking Kag Vushunji, if he want that Ashta Siddhi. But what is the Ashta Siddhi, my dear devotees? What are the 8 things, the 8 blessings which Hanuman had? The 8 powers. 1, you can become very, very light at any time you wish to, or you can become very, very heavy at any time you wish to. Secondly, you can become very, very small, or you can become very, very huge as you wish to. And we see this blessings which Hanuman had when he was going to Lanka. Remember this Sursa, when she saw him in the air, she could have seen something flying in the air, right? And she could have pulled it down and swallowed it. But Hanuman, she pulled down Hanuman, and Hanuman tell her, he says, I am in a mission, and I will, when I'm coming back, I will come and I will enter, I will go into your mouth and you can do whatever you want. She said, no, 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 no. She said, I have to devour you right now. So Hanuman said, okay. And what he did, he stretched himself and he became as colossal, as huge as a mountain. So as he was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, this demoness, she was stretching him out big and big and big and big, right? And immediately he became very small and then came out and he came out back. So this was one of the siddhis, So these are the 4 siddhis. Now, what are the other 4 which Hanuman got? Hanuman got 2 siddhis which no human being ever got. The 5th siddhi was that he would never become old. Chiranjeev, he will always be young, never become old. Thirdly, 6, he would never die. Hanuman would never die. This is why today Hindus have this belief that when you put up a red jhandi or a red flag in your yard, Hanuman is there to protect, Today, Hindu believes that once the scriptures are being read, Ramayana is being recited, Hanuman will be sitting there. He'll, in some form or the other, but he will be there. His presence will be there. And the 7th siddhi was that, O Hanuman, you would know the desires of your devotees. Even before your devotees ask for a desire, you will know. When somebody comes before you to pray, you would know. So not that you would not ask Hanuman Baba for what you want when you go before him, but he has that vardhan that he will know what you want, even on acts. And the last siddhi he has is that, O Hanuman, you will have lordship over the world. What is the lordship over the world? Meaning to say that you will rule over the world. So this is a blessing which Hanuman had, the Ashta Siddhi. And so here, Sri Ram, here he's asking Kag Vushunji if he want the Ashta Siddhi. Then again, he's asking, he says, do you want wealth such as that which is possessed by Kuber, the god of riches? So he's offering him wealth now. Do you want wealth? Or do you want final liberation or the fountain of bliss? he's put in many things forward to Kagbhushanji to see which one he wants, or if he wants all. Again, Sri Ram is saying that, do you want knowledge? Do you want dispassion? Do you want wisdom? Of all of these numerous virtues, he's saying, that sages, these great sages, they scarcely attain this in the world. Today, I will grant you all of these. Doubt it not, but ask for whatever your soul desires. Ask for whatever you desire. And let us listen in Chaupai as to what Kagbhushanji would say. Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
सुनी प्रभु बचन अधिका अनुरागी सुनो प्रभु बचन अधिका अनुरागी मन आमन करना तब लागू मन आमन करना तब लागू
Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
प्रभु कह दीन सकल सुख साही प्रभु कह दीन सकल सुख साही भगति अपनी दीन काहि भगति अपनी दीन न काहि
Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jai Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
जय राम श्री राम
Jaya Jaya Rama
जय राम श्री राम
Jaya Jaya Rama
सुनी प्रभु बचन अधिका अनुरागी मन अनुमन करण तब लागी. So here now, Kagbhushanji, on hearing these words from Bhagwan, he was very overwhelmed with love, and he began, to reason out within himself. Is it true that the Lord has promised me all these kinds of blessings? He's asked me all of these which I want, but he didn't ask me, bhakti apani deena na kahi. He didn't ask me about that devotion or that faith which I have in him. He didn't ask me about that, So, bhakti hina guna saba sukha ai lavana bina bahu bhajana jaisi. So, here Kagbhushanji is thinking, he's saying that without faith, that all virtues and blessings are of no use. And he began to say, just like when you cook in food, he says you can have any amount and any quantity of condiments or any kind, how much seasoning you can put in food. But if it doesn't have that one ingredient which is called salt, It says it have no taste. So you can put all the nice seasoning, but if the food, they always say put salt to taste. But if the food has no salt, you won't get a taste of the seasoning. So this is what he's reasoning now in his mind. He says, you can have all of everything that the Lord had asked me for, but if you do not have that devotion, that bhakti, that one bhakti, then it is of no use. Because, my dear devotees, unless you do not have bhakti, you would not have humility, To have humility, you must have the bhakti. Otherwise, what would you have? You would have kam, krodh, ahankar. You will have arrogance, you will have anger, all the negative things. So when you have the bhakti, you have the love and the devotion. So, like this. So he's pondering now, and he's thinking, what should I ask the Lord for? So he's thinking, and let us hear, what will he ask the Lord for as we do one chaupai? Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
जो प्रभु होई प्रसन्न बर देहु मो पर करहु कृपा और में हूँ
Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
मन भवता बरा मगहु स्वामी मन भवता बरा मगहु स्वामी तुम उदर उरा अंतर जामी तुम उदर उरा अंतर जामी
Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama Jaya Rama Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
जय राम श्री राम
Jaya Jaya Rama
So here, जाओ प्रभु होई प्रसन्न बर देहु मो पर करहु कृपा और नेहु. So here, Kagbhushanji is telling Prabhu Shri Ram, O Prabhu, he says that if you are pleased with me, would you please grant me the boon which I ask for, which my soul so desires? He says, O Prabhu, I want you to grant me with that devotion which is uninterrupted and unalloyed to you, to your person, to which the Vedas and the Puranas sing your praises and your glories, which the greatest ascetics and the sages search for, but few find your grace, O Prabhu. He said, this is what I want from you, to grant me that boon that I will constantly have uninterrupted devotion to you. See? Now, would we think that he's very foolish? Because every time somebody pray to God, especially if you say, God appear to me, what would I ask for? So much list. Bhagwan himself give him the list for wealth, for knowledge, for wisdom, for the Ashtasiddhis, all of these things. But he didn't ask for none of these. He says, I want that which is devotion. And you know, my dear devotees, devotion, everything else which we get in life, it comes from outside. If we get knowledge, we have to study books and write exams and all of these things. It comes from outside. We get our papers and our certificates and our degrees and so. If you are wealthy and you have money, it comes from outside again. You have to work and you have to collect it. If you have name and fame, all of these things come from outside. The only thing which comes from within is that bhakti. That bhakti. That's the only thing which comes from within. And there's a very beautiful sloka in Bhagavad Gita where Bhagavan Krishna was telling the devotee, Arjuna, he said, Arjuna, ask me for anything you want, I will grant it upon to you. But don't ask me for devotion. Why? Because you have to get that by yourself. You have to acquire that by yourself. That is why, my dear devotees, we cannot measure devotion, you know. We as human beings cannot measure devotion. We will look at somebody and see how they dress and we might pronounce, you know, we might look at them and see how they are. If somebody is not dressed good and they come to prayers, we might say, what do you want here? What, you know, but we do not know how much devotion that person has. Only Bhagwan alone knows how much devotion one has. See? And that comes from within. So, this is what. So, Kagbhushanji, he told Bhagwan that I want you to give me that devotion. And so, my dear devotees, and coming to the close, what Bhagwan said? Eva mastu. Eva mastu means so be it. You know, when somebody pronounces a blessing on you, especially the holy people, and they say Eva mastu, so be it. And as well as if they pronounce a srap on you, and they say Eva mastu, it's bound to happen too, you know. So Bhagwan Sri Ram says, Eva mastu. He says, so be it. You know, the Lord of the Raghus, he said. And most comforting words he gave to this. He says, Eva mastu kahi Raghukula Nayaka, bole bachana parama sukha dayaka, suno bhyasa te sahaja sayana, kahi na ma grissa asi vardana. Vardan. So here is what he's telling Kagbhushanji now. Now, my dear devotees, you see, we must have faith. Whatever you believe in, you must have faith, right? Remember, there are many religions in the world, major religions. And in every religion, there are good people and there are bad people. Even Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, any religion, you have opposites, right? So always there is good. So here, the belief. Now, who was this Kagbhushanji? We all know Kagbhushanji. Now, in scriptures, it is said Ramayana. Ramayana is recited in 4 places. The first place Ramayana is recited is by Bhagwan Shiva to Uma Parvati in the northern mountains of the Himalaya. So, on the mountain top, that is the highest. Ramayana was recited by whom? The highest. Lord Shiva to Uma Parvati. Then, secondly, Ramayana was recited by Yajnavalak to Bharadwaj. Yajnavalak to Bharadwaj, those were 2 holy and highly elevated saints. Thirdly, Ramayana was recited by Kagbhushanji to Garud. So remember here, Sri Ram is speaking of Kagbhushan. So he got direct blessings of Sri Ram. So he was recited, Kagbhushanji is reciting Ramayana to Garud. And fourthly and lastly, Tulsidas Ji Maharaj to Santa Samaj. Tulsidas Ji, he has written the Ramayana, where all of us can read and listen and understand the glories of Ramayana. So these are the 4 places where Ramayana was recited. But what it tells us? That from the highest to the lowest, Kag, Vushunji to Garu, they were birds. So my dear devotees, it says that Ramayana has no discrimination. So at any level you are, you can listen to Ramayana, you can understand Ramayana, you can practice Ramayana, you can live Ramayana. So this is what, here now Sri Ram is telling Kagvushunji with comforting words. He says, listen, and he's calling him by, listen, O Kagvushunji, you are by nature Saga Sayas, meaning that you are very low. So, no wonder it says that you ask for this boon, such as this. You ask for a boon such of this, because there's nothing higher and better than this boon of devotion, to become the highest. Because, the bird is very low, so he wants to elevate his status and rise to that. And so, like this, he's saying, finally, let us listen to final Chaupai. जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
सब सुख कानी भगति मागी सब सुख कानी भगति ते मागी नहीं जग को तो ही समभागी नहीं जग को तो ही समभागी
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
जो मुनि कोटि जतन नहीं लेहहि जो मुनि कोटि जतन नहीं लेहहि जे जप जोग अनल तन दहहि जे जप जोग अनल तन दहहि
श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम
जय राम श्री राम
जय जय राम
जय राम श्री राम
जय जय राम
सब सुख खानी भगति ते मागी नहीं जग कोई तो ही सम भागी. So Sri Ram is saying, oh Kagvushanji, that no one in this world is so highly blessed as you. You know, sometimes people tell you, you are 1 in a million. So here Sri Ram is telling Kagvushanji that no one in this world, I mean, you are the only one, is as blessed as you. For you have sought the gift of devotion, which is the fountain of every blessing. and which even the sages cannot win. For all their infinite labors, though they consume their bodies in the fires of prayer and yoga. You know, my dear devotees, the sages of ancient, they used to sit on the banks of the rivers, the Ganges. They used to sit on the caves, on the mountains, and they used to meditate and meditate for years and years and years, and even burn up their body, consume their body in this fire of yoga. And they never got the blessings of Sri Ram. They never get to see the Lord. See? And this low creature, as we say, as even Sri Ram himself say, you have got the blessings, the highest of all blessings. So, my dear devotees, you know, there's a lot more, but we will stop there for this evening. So, the few chaupais we have listened to, it tells us that when you have that love for God, God will come to you. But when we read of the scriptures, at the time when the scriptures was written, it said that God actually used to appear before you. God used to come before you in the age of Satyug, Treta, and Dwapar. In Satyug, Bhagwan came in the form of Lord Vishnu. In Treta, he came as Sri Ram. In Dwapar, he came as Bhagwan Krishna. But we are now in the age of Kali Yuga, my dear devotees. So it says, in this age of Kali Yuga, we will not be able to see the Lord with our physical eyes. This is why we have that third eye. We have a spiritual eye. This is why when we come to satsang, we say clasp your hands and close your eyes. You know. So when you clasp your hands, my dear devotees, one is Tat, one is Tvam. Tat is God and Tvam is you. So when we clasp our hands, we say, God, you and I, we come together. That's why we say, Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu. So God, you are my mother. Tvameva Bandhu, you are my friend. Tvameva Vidya, you are my knowledge. Tvameva Sakha, you are my friend. So you and I, we become one. You know. So like this, it says that in this age of Kali Yuga, we would not see Bhagwan with the physical eyes. So when you close both your physical eyes, you open the spiritual eye. And my dear devotees, when you close this eye and you open the spiritual eye, and you says, let us pray to that Bhagwan as Krishna. Through the spiritual eye, you will visualize that beautiful form of Bhagwan Krishna, with his basuri, with his nice peacock feather, with his little dhoti, and all of the, you know, you would visualize. If we say, let us pray to Hanuman Baba, right away you will visualize Hanuman Baba, you know, powerful, well built with that mukdar, you know. So this is how we see God with the third eye. But more than that, Bhagwan says that you will be blessed. That in the early days, you had the sages and the saints and the holy men used to sit for thousands and thousands of years. He says, in this age of Kali Yuga, you wouldn't have to do that. He says, you come, you see, this is why we have satsang now, from 6 to 8. And if you go beyond 8, what happens now? You get restless. 2 hours. If you go beyond 8, you start to look at the time, whatever the Baba is saying, you really listen to he, you know. So time now in this age of Kali Yuga is very short, and it's becoming shorter and shorter. And with COVID now, 1 hour. People say, but sometimes they call it to do satsang, they say 1 hour. You know? So like that. So nothing is wrong, right? Because time, place, and circumstance. So Bhagwan is saying that in the age of Kali Yuga now, that time is shorter, but yet still you can see Bhagwan. And he gives you three type of people you can see God in. And what did he says? Om Matri Devo Bhava, Om Pitra Devo Bhava, Om Acharya Devo Bhava. And there is a fourth one. Om Atithi Devo Bhava. So he says, Matri Devo Bhava. He says, you will see God in your mother. First and foremost, your mother is God. In this age, in this present age, you see. You treat your mother as God. You think your mother to be God, and she will be God for you because she's always there. Pitra Devo Bhava, father will be God to you too. See. Acharya Devo Bhava, the teacher will be your God. You know, we have many teachers. We have the guru, different type of teachers. And then fourthly, Atithi Devo Bhava, the guests. When a guest come to your home, they are like your God. You see, when you have a wedding and so, or any kind of function, religious function, and you have guests coming from away, you just feel different, you know. Just showed her wedding a couple of times, and she had guests from away. See how you just feel when you have guests coming, you know, family coming, and so you feel real happy, and when they're leaving, you just feel very, very sad. It's like God leaving you. So this is, you know, some of the places where Bhagwan is saying that you can find God. And you doesn't have to look very far, right within. Your parents, they are there with you. Your guru is always in your heart. You know, when a guest come, always treat the guest good. Offer them something to eat, offer them something to drink, make them comfortable, like this. So, my dear devotees, this brings me to the end of this evening's session. Once again, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out and joining with this wonderful family in this of their time of grief and sorrow. We know that Randy has gone to the great beyond. He has been recalled. But Mataji, you know, Bhagwan, he knows the bigger picture. So he is gone, he's recalled, but he will come again. Wherever there is an exit, there's always an entry. So once there's death, there's going to be life. And once there's life, there's going to be death. So this cycle will continue on and on and on. So once we know this and remember this, always feel that he will come back in your life. He will come back in your life. So these few words, we'll have a couple of bhajans and then we'll close.
अरे काहे सुतल भाहो मनवा जपले सीताराम काहे सुतल भाहो मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम काहे सुतल भाहो मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम पंछे जागे जागे धरती माता हो जागे धरती माता राम भजन बिना सोना जीवन काहे जन्म गावाता हो काहे जन्म गावाता मित जड़े दुखरे साड़े बहे बहुत राम काहे सुतल भाव मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम काहे सुतल बाहो मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम जीवन रामे हमरे दाता हो रामे हमरे दाता फिर संगीत हो राम रमैया और सभी चुक जाता हो और सभी चुक जाता हो है स्वामी जतन कचैया जिनके सब गुलाम काहे सुतल बाहो काहे सुतल बाहो मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम। जो जाहे सो ही सत पावे सोवे दुखिया होवे ओ सोवे दुखिया होवे राम नाम से ओ जियाड़ा जो सुमरन में कोए ओ जो सुमरन में कोए ओम शरण हो ओम शरण हो मेरे मन पाहे सुख धाम सुते सुतल बाहो काहे सुतल बाहो मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम। काहे सुतल बाहो काहे सुतल बाहो मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम। काहे सुतल बाहो काहे सुतल बाहो मनवा जपले सीताराम 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 राम राम।
प्रेम से बोलो श्री सीतारामचंद्र की जय। So we'll do one bhajan dedicated to that beautiful form of the Devi. Last week we celebrated Navaratri, so we'll do Dhana Jagat Jagani. Dhana Jagat Janani Bhavani Ho Rama Bhavani Ho Rama अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी भवानी
जग जननी भवानी ओ राम भवानी ओ राम अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी ओ
धन जग जननी भवानी हो राम भवानी हो राम अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी हो राम।
जग जननी भवानी ओ राम भवानी ओ राम अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी ओ राम।
जगमग जगमग ज्योति विराजे
जगमग जगमग ज्योति विराजे
जगमग जगमग ज्योति विराजे
जगमग जगमग ज्योति विराजे
तेज प्रताप निधानी हो राम निधानी हो राम अचल वरदानी जग जग जननी भवानी।
धन जग जननी भवानी ओ राम भवानी ओ राम अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी ओ राम।
महिमा गम अपार तुम्हारो
महिमा अगम अपार तुम्हारो
महिमा गम अपार तुम्हारो
महिमा अगम अपार तुम्हारो
शेष सुरेश जानी हो राम जानी हो राम अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी हो राम।
धन जग जननी भवानी ओ राम भवानी ओ राम अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी ओ राम।
दुख दुख हरणी सुख संपत्ति भरणी
दुख हरणी सुख संपत भरणी
दुख हरणी सुख संपत्ति भरणी
दुख हरणी सुख संपत धरणी
करणी सकल कल्याणी हो रामा कल्याणी हो रामा अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी कल्याण
जय माँ अचल वरदानी अचल वरदानी अचल वरदानी अचल वरदानी तेज प्रताप विदानी ओ राम निधानी ओ राम अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी ओ राम
धन जग जननी भवानी हो राम भवानी हो राम अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी भवानी धन जग जननी भवानी हो राम भवानी हो राम अचल वरदानी धन जग जननी भवानी धन जग जननी भवानी धन जग जननी भवानी। प्रेम से बोलो जगदम्बिका माता की जय। So, my dear devotees, this brings us to the end of tonight's devotional service. You know, as I look at the audience, I see a good friend, Atma. I want to put Atma on the spot. Atma is a very good drummer, but he said a long time he didn't play. I just want him to come and play one hand first. Come, one hand. Come one hand. That's it. Come. So we'll have our final closing bhajan. Swagatam Krishna Sharanagatam Krishna Bolo
Swagatam Krishna Sharanagatam Krishna
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 Swagatam Swagatam Sharanagatam Krishna
Swagatam Swagatam Sharanagatam Krishna
Swagatam Swagatam Sharanagatam Krishna
Swagatam Swagatam Sharanagatam Krishna
Swagatam Krishna Sharanagatam Krishna Krishna.
Swagatam Krishna, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam Krishna, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam Krishna, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam, Swagatam, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam, Swagatam, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam, Swagatam, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam, Swagatam, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam Krishna, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam Krishna, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam Krishna, Sharanagatam Krishna.
Swagatam Krishna,
Sharanagatam Krishna. Sharanagatam Krishna. Sharanagatam Krishna. Sharanagatam Krishna. प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय. I think you did real good. You see, class is permanent, form is temporary. So, my dear devotees, it is so nice again to see all of you wonderful people coming this evening to join in satsang. You know, I want to thank all members of our group this evening. I want to especially thank my good friend Kumar. You know, only this morning I called him and, you know, he said he will come. Because, you know, our regular drummer, he's now an Aja. So he got his first grandchild only last week. So to have some function today, so he could not come. So, Kumarji, you know, so it was nice to have you with us and listen to you after a long time. And Atma, so nice, you know, to listen to you too after a long time. And regular, you know, Dhanraj Bhai on the harmonium and Dula and on singing, and Bhai Deen and Yashoda, my Dharmapatni, Devika and myself. This was our group for tonight. So, let us all clasp hands, close eyes and bow heads as once again we think about that beautiful form of Bhagwan. We seek of His grace, His guidance, His blessings and protection. Om Govinda Govinda Hare Murari, Govinda Govinda Ratanga Pare, Govinda Govinda Mukunda Krishna, Govinda Govinda Namo Namaste. He Krishna Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandaya Cha, Nanda Gopakumaraya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dina Bandhu Jagatpate, Gopisha Gopikante, Radha Kante Namastute. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorama Amritam Gamaya, Mrityorama Amritam Gamaya. And finally, O Prabhu, you alone, our divine mother, you are our divine father, you are our true friend and companion, you are our knowledge, you are our health, you are our strength, you are everything unto us, O Prabhu. Continue to guide us, bless us and protect us. Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Saka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinan Tvameva Tvameva Sarvang मम देव देव ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। प्रेम से बोलो प्रभु श्री रामचंद्र की, प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण भगवान की, प्रेम से बोलो गुरु महाराज की, प्रेम से बोलो श्री सच सनातन धर्म की जय जय। हर हर। Turn to the person next to you and with a beautiful smile, Sitaram. So I want to say special blessings to our song engineer, Nairanji, for doing such a wonderful job, as always. So until we meet again, Jai Shri Ram.